Hi everyone, this evening I am playing Retro. I've been working on a wargame project all day. I've got a little bit of time. I don't have anything set up on the table and I've got like an hour basically. So I went through all my sort of quick playing games and I thought, I haven't played this in a while, and I think that I may even play a few games of this actually and do a video review about it. This isn't that. This is instead, I'm going to do an AAR after action report of a mission, a scenario that I've picked to re-familiarise myself with the Retro rules. For those of you who don't know, Retro is a tactical World War II wargame, and it's published by Minden Games. And you basically, it's a rule set, and you use the components from a number of any tactical World War II war game, but you use these rules. So the components from another game, rules from this. It is absolutely not ASL, anything to do with ASL, Squad Leader or ASL Start Kit, but I am using components from, I think these are from Starter Kit actually, so from Starter Kit, ASL Starter Kit, but it is not an ASL game, it is not a variant of an ASL game, etc. I'm just using the components, I'm using these rules. And like I said, it's really, because I don't have a lot of time, and I thought, actually I've never done a video about Retro, and I have played it at times quite intensely, but I haven't played it for a little while. So, in this particular mission, there we go, I've knocked some of the stacks over. In this particular mission, we have the American 82nd Airborne, and they have to prevent some German Panzer Grenadiers from, who will enter on this side of the map along here, along this hex row, and they have to stop them exiting off the map. It's really simple, really straightforward. And they appear on turn 1. So 82nd Airborne. Now I do like the 82nd Airborne, I have to say. Any game that's got the American Airborne 82nd, I invariably will want to buy and play. And I've got some friends who have served in the 82nd, so they have got to stop them from progressing their way across the board, basically. They've got to stop the Germans. So it's only, I'll probably do 6 or 7 turns or something like that. It's just for fun. I know this looks like ASL or ASL Starter Kit. It is not. It's a completely different game. So, but I'll just sort of play through the turns and sort of give a surmise of what's happened in the turns, and maybe as I do so, talk about some of the mechanics in Retro. At the end of the first turn, we've got the German forces coming onto the map. Remember, they enter on this north face here, and they're going to work their way across. There's a couple of hills, some orchards, some trees. There are some buildings that have got the 82nd in. There's a lot of open ground here with some stubble corn. I'm going to count it stubble corn. And they just got to work their way across. There's one of the mechanics that's quite interesting in this game is that when the enemy move into an open hex that's within normal range of an opponent, you have to do what's called a hesitation roll, and on a natural 6 on a 1d6 determines whether you hesitate. There are some modifiers and so forth, and people house rule that quite a lot. What is interesting in this scenario is that already some of the units have rolled a 6 on a d6 and have slowed them down here. The other thing that's with this game is that you do your moving, and if you've moved you can't fire, then you do the opponent's sort of defensive fire, I'll call it. That didn't really have much effect, even though they're quite close to the Americans. The Americans' defensive fire didn't really affect the Germans too much, and the Germans were able to. Then you do another 1 hex additional movement to get into close combat, and these 2 stacks are in close combat in a building here. We roll for the close combat, no effect, amazingly enough. They're pretty even. between the two stacks. The Germans have a slight edge over the Americans, and then in the Americans' turn, they fought. We did the same combat again, and again it's still a sort of stalemate. So you imagine them fighting within this building, close range fighting, but no clear winner yet. These Germans here caught in the open, and the Americans the Americans fire in their turn were able to flip them. So they are now, unless a leader gets to that, they can't self rally. There is an optional rule. I think you can self rally one disordered. We'll call it disordered or counter per turn if you choose to do that. Which I'll probably let the Germans have a crack at that and see if they can rally one of them. So yeah, it's quite an interesting rule set, because I know this is an ASL map, and I'm probably going to say this a million times in this video. It's not ASL. It's not ASL. It doesn't play anything like ASL. But it's got some interesting. It is a very straightforward, simple rule set, which is why I chose it for this evening, just to sort of play through a game quite cheerfully, quite quickly. So yeah, quite sort of action already from turn 1. At the end of turn 2, the Germans have been able to advance across this open ground, and the Americans have been able to shoot a load of them up. So they are broken. Interestingly, I talked about moving into open terrain within range of the enemy, and hesitation. This unit here, which also has a leader, they rolled a 6. So I think the leader can modify hesitation, but I rolled a 6, so they hesitated. So that's the way I'm playing it. This close combat's still unresolved. There's still fierce fighting between the Germans and the 82nd here, and exchange of fire between these units here to no effect. At this side of the map, though, the Germans were able to shoot up this building here, wooden building here, and break the 82nd here. So this side of the map is now open more, though there are some American Airborne here. This side of the map, however, even when breaking the stacks up into multiple units to create multiple targets, I think this could be a killing field here. And then fierce fighting. This will be determined who wins this close combat here. Finished turn number 3. Quite an eventful turn. This side of the map, the Germans have been able to move up through the forest, and they are going to get themselves into position to start laying down some fire on these airborne counters here. So much open ground here. They've either got to neutralise the Americans here by firing, or by taking their chances moving across the open ground before they lay down fire on here. Because what we're seeing here on this side of the map, these Germans have moved across the open ground. This units here have been able to defeat them all. In fact, they are KIA this here. I've just marked them there just to remind me. So I'll remove them in a second. So they've been able to stop all the Germans moving across this open ground. This unit here also failed their hesitation. So the amount of fire coming out from this building have making them think twice about that. So in keeping with the narrative that I'm playing out, I think the next turn these Germans will start moving up to this side and give up on this side of the battlefield. Some fierce exchange of fire, but still stalemate. The Germans here were able to defeat the Airborne in close combat, so they are out of the game. They have this building here now. So yeah, it's quite a lot of drama in such a small footprint, and it's one of the things I like about tactical games at this sort of scale. Just completed turn number 4. That poor German leader and his squad made their way up here towards this American Airborne, assuming that they would be taken out by the supporting fire of these two stacks here. Unfortunately, it wasn't his day. They weren't able to do that. He got so close, and then the defensive fire eliminated him with an amazing die roll. So he's dead, out of the game. So I'm just going to remove those in a second. Here we go. I've moved the broken units into cover. They've managed to crawl their way back into cover. And these units here are in position now, ready to tackle. So the sort of German advance has been halted by the American 82nd, valiantly defending their positions, holding us against superior numbers. Excellent. It's a great little sort of narrative piece that's coming to the forefront. So another turn in, and the Germans cannot move this airborne unit out of this wooden building here. Just the die rolls, unbelievably bad luck. This side, however, the Germans were able to break the airborne units there in this wooden building, where there is a leader who will be able to attempt to self-rally. There's only 2 more turns, and they have to really get these squads onto that hex row there. So I think in the next Germans' turn, they are going to just leg it, for want of a better expression. That's a technical military term, legging it. They are going to move post-haste across the open ground and just hope that the airborne don't gun them down as they do so. This side is pretty much, they're just held up here, so we'll see if we can, eventually the Germans can defeat that unit there. We'll see. So we have one more turn to do. On this side, the Germans, yes, as I said, legged it, but these were gunned down in the open. This unit, however, have been able to move much further unhindered. But the Americans have brought up the units from here, across the road here, into this area here, and will try and gun them down as they are fleeing the battlefield, as I call it. On this side of the map, the Germans were able to defeat the 82nd in close combat, so they are defeated, and I'll remove them from the board. There we go. So we've got one last turn, and we'll see if we can exit these Germans off the board, which they should be able to do, providing they don't roll a 6 on the to see if they can move. Yeah, they should be able to do that, and then we'll have a quick tally of the victory points and see what the outcome's been. So yeah, finished the game, and the Germans were able to exit some of their squads off the map. They did take some quite significant casualties, as did the US Airborne. I'm not using the ASL scenario that I picked. I think that the Germans scored more victory points than the Americans, but didn't score enough, is how I would say. It felt more like a marginal victory to the Americans, partly because, obviously, as I said, this scenario features the 82nd Airborne, and as far as I'm concerned, any scenario with the 82nd Airborne automatically wins. I am joking, but quite a fierce little fight on a quite small physical board, which is very enjoyable. It was quite a sort of rich narrative that I enjoyed, and this is why I play tactical games solo. This is not a competition. I'm not trying to play this to learn how to beat an opponent. I'm trying to play both sides equal. I will be honest, I'm always going to slightly prefer any scenario that has the 82nd Airborne in it. There you go. But a lot of fun. Didn't take long to play. Even with stopping and doing these little videos, it's taken me no more than an hour to set it up, play through. I think with a game like this sort of size, with the retro rules, you can do a turn in literally a few minutes, if I'm being honest. Or one side of the turn, it doesn't take long to play. And also, if I'm being honest, the rules are all from memory. I picked the rulebook off the shelf. really for the infantry fire table, to be fair. So I will probably go through and reread them. One of the interesting things in the rulebook, towards the back, if my memory serves me right, is that there are some scenarios. Here we go. Strike from. Oh, hang on. This one is indeed about the Airborne. Excellent. So these are sort of scenarios you can make up yourself. So you use 3 different boards and you select forces. I might have a crack at that, actually. That might be quite good fun. So yeah, nice little rule set. It is a very light rule set. It is not an ASL replacement. It is not an ASL starter kit replacement. It is its own thing. I know I've used the ASL components. I could have used other tactical war game components and adapted them to the rules and the tables that are in there. I have done that, actually, now that I think about it. I think I can remember playing Combat Commander once or twice using retro rules just for a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun, and it's a fun, pacey rule set, which I like. It's quite tough decisions, actually, to make, which is good, and it has an authentic flavour, but it is a very simple rule set. So that was fun, and that's what I wanted tonight. Something quite quick playing and quite decisive, where I was going to get a story, the whole thing, in an hour, and it felt really. It was an enjoyable tactical experience. I enjoyed it very much. So thanks a lot for watching. I'll probably do some more videos of retro, actually. I'm quite tempted to do one of those sort of make your own scenarios just to see how that pans out. So yeah, thanks again for watching. I'm going to say it for the last time. This is not ASL. ASL components, retro rules, not ASL. I love ASL, by the way. I've probably said that 100 times as well. So thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again, as ever. Thank you.